unavoidable, so we may as well do it.
It's for me. So welcome everybody to the January 5th, the first inaugural work group meeting of 2022. Welcome everyone, and I hope everyone had a nice New Year and a little bit of time off and holidays and all that. So we are actually first. Let's do any new friends who would like to introduce themselves if you haven't participated in this working group before. You don't have to, but you're welcome to. Okay. So Log4j obviously is a hot topic. We want to just have a little bit of discussion on it. David, do you want to kind of lead this discussion?
Yeah. I mean, we I don't want to make this a Log4j meeting, but I think it's relevant to talk about this, and in particular, much more on the, hey, how could this have been found much sooner? Because of course, if Log4j had been released and one day later, or even better, a day before, the problem had been found and fixed, that would have been, well, a whole lot better. So. So basically, I tried to answer. I thought about this, and I thought of four ways in particular. I think that this could have been found. Number one, frankly, training and education. I've just put into our meeting notes the specific text specifically from our course and the section in our course that talks about not letting untrusted users control output formats, because that's typically a bad idea. I mean, the execution's the worst, but frankly, the whole idea that an attacker can cause data to be reinterpreted in any way is dangerous, and just shouldn't that shouldn't be. Next, security audits. I hear there's this Project Alpha thing that might that some people are interested in. I think this is definitely a case where, I mean, it's always hard to guarantee an audit will find something, but I think this is the kind of thing an audit would be pretty likely to find if you have somebody who knows what they're doing, is spending real time, actual time on this. I think fuzzing's plausible. It's there is the issue of, hey, would fuzzing have even gotten to cover that area, and would you have noticed that it downloaded random code? But I think that's decent chance. It's a little less likely, but negative testing is possible. Now, it's not that they didn't have testing. They had almost nearly 8,000 functional tests. But they're primarily functional.
Yeah.
But what they clearly lacked, it was negative testing. In other words, these are the things that shouldn't work. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I wonder if the distinction between, so the idea of the message lookup by itself, no, no, sorry, I take it all back, because they implemented things like lookup from an environment variable, and
right.
So while I think there's some blame on Java, the runtime, to be so
trusting.
Well, trusting, but also like it's just the whole way that JNDI is like so like thousands of people became first learned about JNDI in the past month, after spending years and years working with Java. So I don't know that I think there were probably some runtime features in the pluggability and the defaults that were probably also kind of root causes of this. where if the only thing that you could do is look up variables, it would be an information disclosure issue. Now, maybe those variables are sensitive, but the whole way that you can jump from, you know, log a message to load a class and execute it, you know, obviously it was a log4j issue, but I think Java shares some of the blame in this.
Yeah, or at least Java's JNDI, or
Yeah.
Java or Java JNDI. I'm not sure where, because indeed, although it's JNDI specifically, there are actually a number of cases where Java is delighted to download and run arbitrary code, and going, really? You think that's a good idea? Why?
Yep. I think the other thing that Log4j showed is that a lot of people were like, sweet, I'm still on Java. I'm still on Log4j 1. So I'm not affected. So, which is kind of like, well, okay, but like, and 1.x has been deprecated since 2015. So it's really showing a
Yeah, and they were already vulnerable to something else.
Yeah, including RCE. I mean, the RCE is a little bit like slightly control. It's not, it's not like the Log4j2 vulnerability, but it's, but yeah, I mean, and so a lot of this was packages, so this is somewhere in the transitive graph, 1.x showed up in a lot of cases. So, I don't know, it's hard. It's a hard one. But I do think the Log4j is particularly interesting in the context of alpha because it's like, I don't want to even say it's a normal vulnerability. It's a normal vulnerable feature, as Luigi, as you said. Like, it's working as designed. It was a bad idea, but it was working as designed. It wasn't a nation state actor. It wasn't an APT thing. It wasn't some like super esoteric kernel bug. It wasn't like any of the other like, I guess, more interesting kind of vulnerability classes. This is just regular vulnerability. Like,
this is it's a mistake. It's an unintentional mistake. It just happened to be extremely awful. And, and of course, indeed, but for the grace of God, go I kind of thing. Any developer can make a mistake.
Absolutely.
But it's the mistakes happen, but they shouldn't normally be this costly. There's the problem.
Right. Cool. Any other thoughts from the crowd on before we close on Log4j?
No, but it is interesting because I mean, probably with the using fuzzing, we were not able to identify this particular bug, but there is a fuzzer for Java I found after the Log4j incident. And it is interesting because it's part of the Google OSFuzz open source project. And probably making fuzzing easier for developer by integrating it in the CI can help to identify some bug. Not every vulnerability, not every bug, but it can help to identify similar issue. Not this in particular because it was probably a bad feature, but other bad input can be fuzz.
Yeah, in this particular case, I mean, Google's been funding OSSFuzz and trying to make it really easy to get it into CI pipelines of open source software projects. It's not entirely clear what the probability of fuzzing detecting this specific kind of problem. I mean, that doesn't mean that fuzzing is bad. It's just there's a probabilistic
I agree with you.
mechanism.
Yes, I agree with you.
And this wouldn't have caused us a crash in many cases. So.
Exactly. I agree with you. For this feature, probably fuzzing was not enough, but in general, maybe other similar bug where there is a user input that is not checked properly. Maybe you have add some check, maybe you add some synthesizer, but they are not enough or bad written, similar. Fuzzing can help you. And I have tried to add fuzzing to some project, and sometimes it's very hard to integrate fuzzing in a project.
Yes,
So
it's always more work. I completely understand. Yeah,
that is
I mean, it would be interesting to ask what could we do to increase either ease of funding or likelihood of detection of these problems.
Mhm.
Has anyone looked into CodeQL? I'm very curious because Java is, very friendly to static analysis. And at Scorecard, I had CodeQL warned us about a few months ago about an identical problem where we were taking a variable untrusted and using it to do an HTTP request. And I'm curious whether anyone even tried CodeQL on this like that.
I believe there's a CodeQL rule for JNDI injection.
But does it have to be specific to this? Because it's really just 10 tracking, and then you have a source and you have a sink, and there's nothing more to it than this, right?
Right. So the question is, would a log4j warn function be considered a source?
If it triggers a network request, I think that's exactly what CodeQL warned us in Scorecard. So I would imagine that it would actually warn.
Yeah. So I think it's I'll post it in here. I'm pretty sure this is the references the rule somewhere here.
Okay, so you're saying out of the box, CodeQL wouldn't discover it.
No, I need to look at the actual rule. But yeah,
I am looking around for log4j and CodeQL. And what I find is people are using CodeQL to look for log4j, but I haven't seen any evidence that the existing rules building on CodeQL would have found it. I'm not saying it couldn't happen. It's just I haven't seen any evidence of it.
Okay, if I can find the actual rule, and I think that it would be, I'll post a link to the rule anyway over here as we talk about other stuff. I did actually, sorry, but before closing on this, I did have a thought, and I want to see if anybody was aware of a tool that did this. I didn't want to have to just write it from scratch. What I was looking for is, so after 2.16 came out, I wanted to see, like, is there any other path that I can get from anywhere in Log4j to the JNDI manager class or things like that. What I really wanted was like a method to method call graph, like visual, and I just wanted to be able to like circle that and see that, oh, there's no paths, or yes, there's a path coming here through like the configuration loader stuff. And I had a hard time finding anything. I wound up, I forgot how I did it ultimately, but.
So have you also tried this other tool called Shift Left Security, where they basically do exactly the same as CodeQL? They have a graph, like, this multi-layer graph with data flow, control flow, blah, blah, blah. But instead of giving you an API, they give you like a shell. So you're basically writing like some sort of Python thing. And I think it's a little bit, might be, it depends what you like, but it's, they're part of OpenSSF also. So
I'll take a look. That would be pretty cool. Because I do want
throw a link in,
like,
please.
ad hoc exploration.
Yeah, throw a link in, please, into our notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll find it.
Cool.
Okay, I propose that we move on so that we have time to actually discuss everything else.
Do it. Okay. So next thing, metric dashboard revamp. So Lauren, thank you for joining tonight. So the metric dashboard. So this is metrics.openssf.org. We have a meeting right after this actually to talk about getting some work done to basically clean it up, make it better. Right now it's in my Microsoft Teams Azure subscription, which is not the best place for it, so it'll be moved over to the OpenSSF one, because we do have an OpenSSF subscription. We'll try to make it more cloudy, because right now it's just everything running on a single VM, things like that. But also actually fixing some bugs, like having it refresh periodically and not when someone pings me and tells me that it's out of date. And I take full responsibility for that. I just can't get cron working. It is the silliest thing that I've spent too much time trying to figure out why.
I don't understand it, but if it moves, then it doesn't matter anyway.
Exactly.
So your goal is to not die anytime soon, but it would be probably good
Yeah.
to have it in more general instead of stuck in your personal account.
And literally, and have somebody else be able to do it, and not just me, and all that stuff. So, so we'll do that. So, as part of this, if there are feature requests, throw them out as issues in the project. Let me find the thing. Project metrics. Here, open issues for requests, and we'll, hopefully be able to move on some of those. Next thing, sorry, anything else on that topic? Cool. Alpha Omega. So I'm going to save my demo to the end, so we can get to everything else. But we have made some progress on both of them. So on the Omega side, we have let's call it a proof of concept portal, a triage portal. We've moved over all of the internal infrastructure that we had that has been doing the automated scanning. So I think we have 1,800 or maybe 2,000 projects scanned so far. And it's scanned with like 20 something different tools, including CodeQL. So there's still significant work that needs to be done to hone that and just look for critical issues and reduce false positives and all that stuff. But it's a start, and it's plumbed together, and it's looking at new projects as they are published. So it's kind of staying on top of that. On the portal side, we're probably still maybe a month away from making it public. But I think it'll be a minimally useful to the triage folks to do. In fact, maybe I'll just do it and get it done with. Now you don't have to go back to it. So there we go. So this is the portal. Some of it is just simple links out to code search stuff. But the idea is you have findings. The findings are the things that are imported by the tool. And tell me I broke it. No, okay. So there's a thing. There's a package, the issue, how it was found. You click on it, you see the content of the file, the content of the package. You can explore, triage it, notes. You can say this thing is garbage and open up a tooling bug. Or you can go the other way and say, no, this is real. I'm going to open up a case. I know I'm going through this super quick. I have a demo video that I'll send a link out to. So this is not real. I just made up this text, so I'll change that. But that was a joke. But the idea is, you kind of create a case here, and then you get it reported through GitHub Security Lab or whatever. It's not the intent here was like, let's just have something basic that works, and then we'll build on it. We'll build on it later. So we will have probably 2 engineers that we're going to hire to care and feed and expand and make better this and the automation. So that's my demo. So that's on the Omega side. And on the Alpha side, we've been meeting. We're planning to announce next week. Have a blog article and or press release. The details are a little bit fluid based off of just a bunch of complexity and trying to align timing of other announcements and things like that. So we'll see. But in the next 10 days, let's say at the latest, Alpha Omega will be public. Sorry, the Alpha Omega will be announced publicly. Any questions or anything?
I'll say worst kept secret ever since you've presented it to like every working group.
and these meetings are public and it's on. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, if you web search Alpha, you know, it comes up in places, so it's fine. Any questions or anything on this?
Yeah, I wonder, do you see this as a long-term alternative to lgtm.com?
No.
Yeah.
So lgtm.com, lgtm.com is always interesting because it really is a list of unfixed security vulnerabilities. And I know that in the past we've had conversations on like, is this like where is this on the scale of like good and evil to like have be public? For Omega, because we're assuming now, you could also say that, well, lgtm.com is like you just download CodeQL and run it yourself. Like it's not, no one's stopping you. Similarly for Omega, there's nothing stopping people from running the tools themselves. But I think because we're going to put so much effort into only looking for critical vulnerabilities and making sure that the false positive rate is very low, it really is more of like an O-Day list. So we do not want the Omega output to be, in fact, somewhere here, I think I have on the front page, like access to Omega is restricted. So this is not intended to be public facing. Where I think we do have an opportunity to be public facing is, I mean, one is like reports and aggregations and, you know, wins and things like that. But also in the concept of the SCIM store, and I don't know what SCIM is going to be. I think I don't know if SCIM is changing the name or whatever, but the idea of an activity has taken place against a target and someone asserts that and puts it in a store so that other people can consume. So the idea would be, I'm going to consume left pad. I see that Omega has scanned left pad and not found anything. Like that's an interesting fact that would be useful to me to build up an assurance case. So I do see there being a publicly consumable output of Omega, but it not being the raw, untriaged, unfixed findings.
To be honest, it seems to me that the triaged ones are the more sensitive. Just FYI, I used to work, you know, with the U.S. Department of Defense. You know, their view was basically, you know, if you analyze publicly available code using a tool that you can download or purchase or anything like that, I mean, that's not, I mean, anybody could do that. There's really no point in trying to, like, if they were worried about classification, there's no point in classifying that because, in fact, anybody else could do that. As far as you know, you're the 100th person to do it.
Yep.
What becomes more sensitive is when you get a human in there who starts analyzing and saying false positive, false positive. Oh wait, that's real, because you know, even with these tools to reduce the false positives, I think I'm expecting you're still going to get a non-trivial number of false positives, and having humans look over to do that final review and sort that's in my mind where things change from anybody could do it, you know, anybody could already have that data completely automatically to, oh wait, that's somebody's actually having to do the analysis, and few people do the analysis, as we well know.
Right. I mean, I agree. I think yes. So I agree completely. If I guess the more successful we are at reducing false positives, the closer the two align, and at some point they become close enough where, if we're successful, that the untriaged vulnerabilities are just as sensitive as the triaged. So I think to be safe, we treat everything as sensitive, knowing though that, yeah, obviously, the vulnerability reports that we send out are going to be the most sensitive at all of everything.
Yeah. And try not to send them out on Friday. Try not to send the posting on Fridays.
Well, what we do is we tweet about it first, and we say, "Hey, this interesting info coming soon."
All right. For those of you who are watching the recording, he's kidding. Let's just make that clear now.
Thank you.
Yes. I
Okay.
think that was actually part of the challenge with Log4j is, making the public announcement as a big vulnerability on a Friday did not make anybody happy.
Cool. Okay. Anything? If there's nothing left for Alpha Omega, we'll jump to Security Insights. And this is the YAML one. I started calling it Security Insights. Is that the right name, Luigi?
Yes, it is the right name. I have no updates for this week, but for the next one, I hope to have a well-written document and start to write a small linter for the YAML file.
Perfect.
Usually I don't write web page, but I could use the other web page that we have created. I don't remember the name now, but to format another document. Oh, come on. Okay, well,
if you write the docs, I'm sure we've got a million people who can help you format it. If it's going to be formatted in Markdown, Markdown will take you 3 minutes to learn. There's not much to it.
Yes, because I mean, writing a Python script to format a YAML is not a good idea if we can have a JavaScript web page where the developer can just add the correct information and receive the output in YAML file.
So. Like the security reviews quick start page.
Exactly. This is the page. Oh, thank you.
Yep.
I don't have any problems with Python running a Python program to generate something. I hear other people do it. Whatever works.
You can probably compile Python down to WebAssembly and run it in the browser if you want.
Oh.
Sorry. Okay.
But in all honesty, though, having generated static pages is a non-problem. It doesn't have to be running in the browser on Java with JavaScript. Having a little program that generates static pages and then you view it is a pretty common approach.
Dave, I think Luigi's talking about I want to create a YAML file here. I want to validate it.
Yes. Okay. For the maintainer of a particular repo, it is probably a nice idea of an easy tool to create the YAML well formatted for following that.
Okay, and it's all right.
But this is the next step probably. I can finish the. I just need to clean the current document, removing the garbage and adding an example of the YAML file. So we have. A specific and then we can write the web page, the tool. We can write the code.
Yeah. So this is the validator.
Exactly. This point. Probably I can just copy your code and thank you.
Yeah, and then there's the one that Dylan did is.
It's in docs. Yeah, there you go.
Sorry.
But you could also from the main page, from just the main part of the repo that's linked in the README, it's easier. It's not just raw HTML. Yeah, right there. There you go.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Yes, this is the idea. I don't know if you agree.
Oh, you're talking about using this as like kind of similar form thing to generate the YAML? Is that what?
Yes, yes, a similar approach to generate the YAML. So I don't know if this is a good idea. I suppose yes, because it is a human file at the end. So
I think it's a good. Yeah, I mean, I could show you. Yeah, it's great that the way work is you could probably get away with a bunch of copy and pasting for yeah. If you want to sync up on that or something, I can show you.
Yes, thank you. I can ping you on Slack.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Amir, How are things?
Hello. Good. So I just have a quick update, just some general cleanup of the repo, and then special thanks to Dylan, who's been doing some work on the automatically generating the overview table. I believe he has an update for the work group and question specifically for you on that. So I'm going to hand it off to Dylan.
Oh, yeah, sure. Appreciate that. So one thing, Mike, essentially I kind of set up this separate GitHub action to, to run these Python scripts I wrote and regenerate the overview and kind of and push those changes to GitHub and all that. The only problem I was having was that from Amir's perspective in the OSS public repo as an admin or whatever, he didn't have access to the secrets, like GitHub, the repository secrets under, repository settings secrets, which I have in my private one. I'm not sure if that's something, it's not private, it's a public fork actually. I'm not sure if that's something with his particular permissions or why that was, because that was something that was kind of a necessary variable in the GitHub actions that I set up.
Let me
Well, if you need help on that, we have a program manager, a project manager and that is your job to deal with nonsense like that. So I may just dump you on poor Jen, who will have to figure it out and how to handle it.
Yeah, no, that would be great.
Wait,
I mean,
was
it's
that-
all
what-
done, like 99% of the work is done. It just needs to like add this one setting to the repo. But yeah, I mean, if
I think
oh,
I
that's probably
think
why.
I just need to make you admin.
Yes, that's
okay.
wait, maintain. It says you could still push. What can admin do that?
Some
And repository. No. Yeah, I think he's just limited in his repository settings. It's probably just a admin thing. I'm not sure. I can't say for sure, but
only
Okay.
OSS administrators may add organizational secrets. Sorry.
well, Mike, can you see it in yours? That would probably solve it, right? If you can
Well,
see. Oh yeah, you have.
I can see the page. I can't. I mean, I could create a secret.
Where is that under for you? Because I don't even see the secret.
It's under settings.
Oh, it's in the it's hidden in L3. Okay. Yeah, so Amir's settings page, there's only like 3 tabs on the left, and secrets is not one of them.
Okay. So let's just fix this.
Okay.
So
yeah,
Amir,
So here I've added to the notes here. I think Mike Scavetta can do it, but if not,
Okay.
talk with Jen Bonner. I think technically I can, but I was working till 11 p.m. last night, and so I'm trying to not add to my do list right now.
Amir, try now.
Yeah, you can.
I fixed it.
Cool. Perfect.
So Dylan, we can link up on finishing that cron job part.
Yeah, as soon as you add the secret, the cron job, yeah, we can talk about it afterwards, but it should just run and auto update the overview page upon any kind of push or pull request or stuff like that. Thank you to Mike for that previous effort there, setting up the actions for the validator. I just had to kind of tack it on to the end of that.
Cool.
So cool.
Awesome. So, I mean, something we probably should talk about in the context of Alpha, Omega, and security reviews is that we do plan to have the output of each alpha engagement become a security review. So that will be a natural pipe that we would build. I don't think we need to do anything anytime soon to make that happen, but just directionally.
One thing. Sorry, I'm cutting someone off. I just while it's on my mind and I don't forget, I'm sure this is something you've thought of, but for the Alpha Omega project for the like code QL scanning part of it, have you thought about? Because it sounds like you're trying to kind of make sure the false positive rate and the everything's critical there. Like running your own kind of custom set of code QL queries. That's just like the high precision critical kind of stuff.
Absolutely, yes. So right now, I've intentionally not gone down the path of like which rules should we not run. Mostly just because I know it's a can of worms that if I open it, it'll be all over. It'll be really messy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what we would probably filter the rules by precision and the type, and probably even maybe some other things. But we want to have feedback from the portal to say, like, actually gather and say this rule has had 80% false positive. Because n equals 300, that's too much, so we're going to turn it off. I'd rather miss things with omega than waste a lot of time.
Awesome. Yeah, that'll probably help contribute to improving the precision of these things too, right? Because if someone just writes a query and marks it as this precision, it kind of helps code QL too at the same time. But yeah, so awesome. I just want to make sure that was or just see if that's in the back, as long as it's in like the back of your guys' mind and something eventually to do. Just thought I'd toss it out there before I forgot.
I mean, in fact, what really it is taking the false, a tool emitting a false positive is a defect in the tool, or at least in principle, that's how we'll describe them. Some of them we'll be able to fix, some of them we won't be able to fix, but either way, it's a defect in the tool.
Yeah, I think that's awful extreme, but okay. I mean, the goal. I salute the goal. The reality is, speaking as someone who's written these tools, is the usual problem is you don't have enough information, and so you have to decide either do you report. What do you want a false positive or false negative? You can avoid false negatives by never saying anything, but that isn't very helpful.
Absolutely. And what I would say is so if you don't have enough context, is that because the tool is not aware of enough context, in which case it's a bug in the tool, apply more context? Or is it because fundamentally that information is not available in the system? Like, even in 1,000 years of development, we will still never know this information, in which case, yeah, that we just have to live with.
Well, I mean, I opened a file. Is that controlled by the attacker or not? I don't know. Are you going to require the users to provide a lot of context information before they can do an analysis?
Well,
I mean, really, that's the solution, except that it's really, really hard to get users to provide that contextual information, especially since they don't know in many cases, or the information they might provide is wrong.
That is absolutely true too. But what I would say is it's the difference between haha you're using stir copy and haha you're using stir copy, and I see that there's this taint coming from the user over here. Like one is just string matching, and the other one is like real analysis. So we want to make everything real analysis, and then if it comes down to a I see that you're interpolating this string with a percent bracket thing, and that can suck in an environment variable, like, and your docs show this pattern. Like, there's probably more context that could be absorbed to make better decisions that isn't available today. So we want to push. We do want to advance state of the art here, as much as we can. So anyway, is there anything else anyone would like to talk about? Must be something. Cool. I don't have anything else. So
you know what? There's no shame in ending a meeting early. So
absolutely
we got through our agenda, and we can be happy about that.
Cool.
That alpha omega POC thing is super cool. Just a comment, I guess, not a question. That's awesome stuff.
Yep. I have it right now in my. I don't think I showed you guys. So this is completely off topic, and this is going to sound like a product plug, and I guess it is. But have you guys used code spaces before? GitHub code spaces?
I know of it. I've written about that kind of thing, but I actually haven't used it. But I do know about it.
it is like just wonderful.
Oh, wow.
So what you have, you know what? I'm going to stop recording. Just
I have worried about what happens when I'm disconnected from the internet.